Hey everybody, welcome back to another Like a Ninja live stream from your friendly folks here at NinjaOne. I'm Jonathan Kerr, I'm Director of Community, and I have with me a first time product manager. Not too often that we get fresh meat here. And we have Jason Bayton, who's product manager for our Android aspects of MDM. And we also have Josh Schofield, who's Director of Product Management, overseeing a variety of things in MDM. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to having Jason be fresh meat on the show because I know what it was like when I was. So you take good care of him, Jonathan.
I will do. And likewise to the folks in the chat, let us, as always, don't wait till the end to share your questions. Let us know, react, share your experiences with NinjaOne with MDM. I guess let's start off by anyone there in the chat. Let us know who all is actively utilizing MDM, and also who all is active in our Discord, because that's where these two names will not be new to you. Both Josh and Jason are super active there. Jason, in fact, I think was recently crowned, at least self-crowned, King of Discord, I think.
Jason likes to crown himself a lot of things, just for what it's worth.
Hang on now.
But no, you guys are both very active there, and we obviously very much appreciate it. So you guys have been hands-on building with a lot of the folks you're going to be seeing in the chat. Hey, Striker, and getting early feedback. That's the way we do things here at Ninja. I think this is rescheduled from a couple weeks ago when we released 12.0. We had to move things around, and so people have been waiting with bated breath. Here it is. Here we are, finally going to be talking about some of the new MDM specific enhancements and new capabilities that rolled out with 12. I understand maybe some sneak peeks. We'll see. But Josh, tell us about what you want to cover today.
Yeah. So first and foremost, Jonathan, the production on these never ceases to amaze me. So thank you for all the things you do there. But no, looking forward to talking to everybody about some of the new things. I'm going to cover off some of the new Apple functionality that's actually part of it rolled out yesterday and will continue rolling out over the next week or so. And then Jason will cover off some of the new Android functionality that has already rolled out. And as mentioned, maybe we discuss some upcoming items as well. But yeah, we can jump right into it. I can kind of walk through some of the new functionality.
Sounds good. Before I bring up your screen, I'll just make one caveat here. For any folks who are joining in and you don't have access, how do I get access to MDM? So the on ramp for you is always going to be your account manager. If you don't know who your account manager is, you can either comment directly in YouTube or here in the chat, and we can help you out with that. Or even better, join the Discord and reach out to you. We'll help you there too. But yeah, your account manager, this is something that they can help you enable. They can give you a demo of it and all that stuff. So all the things that we're going to be seeing today, you'll be able to get access through your account manager. So, and I see that we've got some folks who are actively rolling things out. Gad, awesome. Very cool. And hopefully, yeah, Josh, I don't know what you're doing later in the day. Maybe you can stay on and just do Gad's rollout for him. That would be great.
It'll be easy as long as everything's on OS 26, already in Apple Business Manager. It'll be no problem at all.
All right, let's go into it.
All right, Striker, you kind of gave it away a little bit, but actually, I'm going to change the time frame a little bit on you. So. One of the things, actually the main thing we want to talk about is declarative device management and what that means. And we'll talk about what it is, when are you getting it, and what the outcomes and values are and why we are doing it. So the first thing to kind of talk about is what is declarative device management. And the long and short of it is it's really Apple's kind of version 2 of their MDM protocol. So I handle things slightly different. It makes it frankly work a little bit more like Android, which in this world I actually like a lot because it's more policy based. It allows the device to know what to do on its own without having to be told on a very regular cadence. And that's where that manifest based function comes in, which is for us and for you all going to be amazing in terms of the service you can provide to your end users. the benefits and making sure that things aren't changing when you don't want them to. There's a lot of value we'll talk through. So what's the difference kind of between MDM versus, say, the DDM functions? And as I was mentioning before, your traditional MDM is going to be that ad hoc based approach of delivering kind of in the technical depths of things. You're sending commands every time you want to set a restriction, set a Wi-Fi profile, set any of those configurations to define what that device should look and feel like and how it should act. That's a command that has to be ran on a device. So every time you change it, it's a new command. And you have to keep running those commands to make sure the device stays accurate, stays up to date, and has everything that's needed there. And we handle a lot of that on the back end for you. However, there are some pieces that when you want to deliver them, say Outlook configuration profiles or Apple Mail configuration profiles or Wi-Fi payloads, sometimes there's a disruption when you resend the profiles down, and maybe you didn't change that specific one, but because we're resending all of them, there's an impact that could happen. A user may get reprompted for their mail password or Wi-Fi blips as it reevaluates an updated or what it thinks is a new configuration. With declarative-based approaches or the DDM path, you're going to really only have a single manifest that tells the device, here's all the configurations you need to care about. If there's something new in here, you should then look at it. If something is updated, you should only look at that. And it simplifies a lot of kind of how the device handles configuration and policy, which is amazing. And it allows it to really be self-correcting and take care of itself without having to check into NinjaOne. So the devices could effectively be offline, but it has the most current policy that it knows about, and it's able to ensure that those devices continue to stay up to date and stay in sync with the configurations you've set. So that gives you some of the benefits where things become more reliable, become more efficient, and self-correcting. And I mentioned before, I know one of the pain points for anybody using kind of a legacy MDM approach, if you're trying to deliver mail configurations, Outlook configurations, Wi-Fi payloads, and you want to change a restriction today, that changing that one restriction and resaving the policy may impact your users and make them relog into their mail accounts because it's seeing a new or an updated profile. When we move to declarative device management, that will no longer be the case. Only changes to the policies and the sections of the policy that you've made changes to will ever touch or impact the device. So you can effectively change any restriction, users won't be reprompted. Only when you make modifications to those payloads to those specific areas will the user have any kind of impact in terms of changing maybe a URL or a configuration for Outlook. Only in those scenarios will the user have to put in a new password. Or if you change a Wi-Fi SSID, only in those scenarios where it have a blip, which makes this a lot better, right? It makes a far better end user experience. And then what is the impact on technicians? What is the impact on all of you as this gets rolled out to the various environments? Well, first of all, there's no real change to the NinjaOne UI. I'll show some of the things you might see different or might see enhanced with declarations or declarative approach, but there's nothing you're going to notice or change inside of there. At the end of the day, the next sync of a policy, existing MDM payloads that you would see in the console today will transition themselves to be declarations on the device. And that's all you have to do. There's really no user impact at that point. Those with account-based configs, though, may re-enter their credentials that one time. So there may be that next step of getting into declarations where you'll have that Wi-Fi blip, same as you would today if you hit resync policies or if you've modified a policy and saved it, that you'll get that one more time as you move into the declaration-based management approach. You'll now also get profiles now appearing under your configurations or device declarations accordingly. And you'll also note that resync policies as an action will be handled differently. It's going to just resync a DDM manifest or declarative device management manifest, and only the changed configurations are updated on that device. So you really, that option or button has less impact or less effect than it did in the past because the devices already know what they need to have. It is important to note, though, that declarative eligibility really does start with iOS and iPadOS 17 and macOS 14. while some devices do support, say, iOS 16, iPadOS 16, and macOS 13 support declarative management and likely are already enrolled in declarative management, it doesn't support everything. So we wanted to say that to support more across the board would be 17 and 14. But even today, you could use 16 with software updates and patching because that's there today. When does the DDM transition occur? And again, I'll cover off some of the timing that just got mentioned as well. But if you update a policy after we deploy the update, if you resync a policy, if a device goes through an OS update, or if you have a new enrollment, then in any of those scenarios, the devices will effectively start getting their profiles, their policies delivered via a declarative-based approach. So we're not doing it automatically for you. We want you to kind of opt in and it be natural as you make those changes, because there could be that user impact of if you save the policy, it could require that user at least one more time to put in those credentials for any email profiles that they may have set up. Now, question for GA. Fun fact, last night was the first round of GA deployments. We went out to 2 different environments, our Australia-based environment and our European environment, got it last night. We're likely going to let that set for a day or two, and you'll see more updates likely in Discord where we'll roll out, letting the folks know and post updates into our dojo as well, letting you know when our various other environments are going to go. But it should be within the next week or so. Everyone would now be on our declarative-based approach. So very, very close. What this does not include just yet is support for applications to be delivered via declaration or DDM. That is something that we are ultimately have been waiting on this to go out into the wild and get to GA. And now we can continue the development of delivering applications with our declarative-based approach. So that'll allow you to have more auto updating functions and things that'll be coming here in the next couple releases, which will be awesome. But we needed to get this very big milestone out of the way first and kind of put ourselves, if you will, on kind of that bleeding edge of Apple management as we leap out ahead of others in terms of kind of pushing everything through this declarative-based approach. Now, I'll stop here and I want to pivot into our console and show really quickly what this looks like in console. So I'm looking at an iPad here. It'll be very similar with others. If I go into our details section, you'll see in the 12.0 release, we've added MDM profiles and declarations. So these are 2 new sections that you can see now, and you'll see MDM profiles listed here, and you may even already see some declarations for software updates. But when we get to all items being delivered via declaration, you're going to see all of these kind of activations and configurations of legacy capabilities being pushed through as well. So we do have custom payloads being delivered. So you can see web clips being added in, and these are part of our policy. You can see where we're blocking apps. We have another custom payload on a deny list, as well as our device restrictions and some of the other declarations as well. And then up above, you will see some items kind of listed both ways. So they first got delivered kind of in that legacy-based approach, and then they came and are managed via the block apps approach. And you see that with our restrictions as well. Because they first get that mobile policy, they enroll in declarative-based management, and then they convert to a declarative-based approach. So again, no real changes to the UI. Nothing in anybody's UI is going to be drastically different. It's all about kind of the back-end performance and making sure that we're delivering configurations efficiently and allowing for a better end user experience across the board, and now unlocking even more capabilities as we move into app management over the declarative-based approach. Looking to see if we have one other question. So I did see one question that was discussing the kind of concepts around Ninja MDM and being part of device compliance with Intra and any ETA there. That has been something where we've been waiting on an app to get approved with Microsoft, as it will be the key of unlocking that communication with Microsoft. We do have the agreements in place, so we're kind of in a holding pattern as we go back and forth to get the app approved. And once that's done, we'll be able to then use that API to write back status to Intra ID for compliance management, and making sure that users are able to access the Microsoft services from approved devices using NinjaOne MDM across Mac, iOS, iPadOS, and Android. All right. I will take one more question, but before we pivot over to Android. And the last one was around managing local user account for local admin purposes. And yes, that is part of our, I would say, near-term roadmap. We've got a couple of releases out, I believe, before we will be able to truly work on that. But that is something that through the automated device enrollment flow, and maybe even through some policy to being able to manage that through that initial enrollment experience. And even before that, there are some scripts and our automations in our library that help with the creation of local admin accounts and local user accounts. So give a look at that and see if that's of value in the near term. But we do have some local account management, especially through that automated enrollment experience that we want to support. So with that, I've taken up a lot of Jason's time, and most people like to hear Jason a lot more than me. I'm going to pivot and let Jason talk about some of the changes that have come with Android.
Thank you, Josh.
Super. Perfect. Okay, let me see if I can get things shared. Where are we looking?
And also to
Okie doke.
there you go. Perfect.
Should be coming through. There we are. So I don't have any fancy slides. I jumped straight in as raw meat, as Josh and John suggested. And I thought I'd go straight into a demo. That's wonderful. So we'll touch on enrollment first, because although it's not brand new, it came out in 12, so it's been kicking around for a while. It has been a point of contention for quite a while around the customer base and sort of generally within Android enrollment across the ecosystem. When we've historically enrolled devices, we had our little flow up here to add a device, select Android, go through the motions, and then it generates a QR code. That is a one-shot action. It generates the QR code once, and then it vanishes into the ether. What we couldn't do is configure additional settings. So there was no options for enabling system applications, which is a very popular request that comes through, but also embedding Wi-Fi. And although the changes we've made recently don't include EAP for the time being, we do at least have the concept of embedding a Wi-Fi network or a staging network within QR codes today. And behind that modal is the crux of it, right? So what we've done is added enrollment profiles. Now, these are a reusable configuration that you can add for your Android devices that allow you to create a token in the way you want to set it up against the organization, the Android connection, and the networks and all the other settings, and then reuse it as much as you want across as many enrollments as you want. So we have the expiration, which we've had in the past, but also a heap of provisioning settings, which are, again, useful for system apps and several other items, and the Wi-Fi credentials here. So that say allows it to be reused, allows you to create as many tokens as you want to. We also save the tokens now. So if I pop back here, you can see we can go into tokens of any existing profile. And I'll say also that we've added default profiles to collect a heap of old tokens that may have been generated in the past and brought them to the surface, so customers don't have to constantly keep regenerating them, reusing them. You can do it once and get it as many times as you want to. If you click on actions, you can view the QR code. I will not bring it up because I don't want you all jumping into my little environment here. But this is, in a nutshell, you've got your Android Enterprise connection, and you can restrict the enrollment profile to a particular connection, or you can make it available to as much as you want. Obviously, Android devices need one connection to enroll to, but it can be used across organizations and locations and what have you. Typical actions exist, right? So you can delete tokens, you can also delete the profiles. We do keep the default ones active. And again, because these are a collection point for unassigned tokens, but that is a drastic improvement on what we've had in the past, and I think it should make it much easier to. No, I will not show a QR code, Robert. I'm sorry. I tell you what, if I put it up, any devices you do enroll, you will not be happy with the resulting device state.
You're just teasing yourself for problems. That it's best not to.
I can do things. I've got back-end access. Right. So part of that there, I only wanted to touch on it just to sort of surface it, to show that we do have configuration for tokens and enrollment now. Again, only because it was so popular and such a popular request, and it took us quite a while to get this up and running. So with that said, I'll now pop over to, or should I touch on zero touch? I mean, we've got zero touch as well. I haven't configured it here, but customers who have zero touch accounts currently with their resellers, so they buy the devices, they get them added to zero touch. We have now the ability to link a zero touch portal, a customer account, into Ninja. That means any devices that are added to a customer account, will then be automatically assigned and come into Ninja without any additional configuration. Historically, as the Zero Touch admin, you could go into the Zero Touch portal and set default configurations and what have you. And if you're a power user or if you use multiple platforms, you can still do that, still advocate for it. But for simplicity's sake, if you have one Zero Touch account and only one destination, you can link it here, and that allows quite quick access between Ninja and Zero Touch, so you can view the devices, view the configuration options, and what have you, just a couple of clicks away. So a little quality of life improvement. Now, let's touch on custom apps. So another request that we've had week on week on week for many months is the ability to push out applications that bypass Google Play. And it's fair enough, right? A lot of customers have in-house applications. They have applications from developers that may have already uploaded that package name to Google Play in the past. And it's one of those things that is, it is a bottleneck, or it can be a bottleneck. Google Play allows one unique package name for every application across the globe. So whether it's by accident or intentional that a package name exists in Google Play, you can't upload the same package within your estate. So that, for context, is going to the Play Store and adding private apps. Now we've got advanced configuration as well, when you can go up to the Google Play console. But this is our sort of simplistic flow. So you can upload applications here, push them out through Manage Google Play, and then you get all the benefits of Google Play infrastructure. Again, that's not what this is about, so I'll bin that off. Here we've got one public app that I've pulled in from Google Play, and then we've got one test application that I've uploaded here. Again, the feature, instead of pushing applications up to Google Play, we now import the APK directly within Ninja. We send it down to the NinjaOne Assist application, and then the NinjaOne Assist application installs that APK on the device locally. We have several checks and balances to make sure the APK that's being pushed down is compatible, is viable, and isn't corrupt. And as long as all of those sort of boxes are checked, the application will install itself. Now, I do have a device here waiting to go, which has, he says, maybe, there we go, which has one of the apps installed. And if I add a custom app through upload application here, we can select a connection if we want to limit who has access to the APK. So the MSP side of Ninja will appreciate not giving access to everybody when you upload an APK to Ninja. So I'll select one here. No, I'll tell you what, for the purpose of demo, I won't. So it'll be available to everybody and everything. Allow user uninstall is similar to the assignment types that we have. So allowing uninstall would be equivalent to pre-installed, and disallowing it would be equivalent to force installed. And then when we go and upload the application itself, I will pick a random one from APK Mirror, which I don't condone people doing, but it's okay. It's just for demos. I think I've probably picked the largest possible APK in existence as well.
I didn't know you started a pizza business, Jason.
You know what? You've got to make ends meet.
What if you need a veggie pizza? I'll be here all week.
Dear me. Yeah, fill the time. Obviously, I've made a grave error in selecting the file. Oh dear, I'd be inclined to cancel it, but it feels like it's too late now.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Almost
Get back
there.
out now.
So while that's doing its thing, it will pre-populate 375 megs. See, I should have checked before we started the process. It will pre-populate the name. You can then give it a publisher and default permission policy, same as you do with the typical app deployments, right? We also have permission overrides and delegated scopes. So if your custom APK leans on specific scopes for accessing certificates or device identifiers, managed configurations, or anything else, you can do that here. And then when you're done and happy with it, which I think I am, yep, we click upload. And in theory, it should save. And again, grave mistake going with such a massive app because it's not going to come down for the demo. But there we are. So that APK now will make its way down slowly to this device at some point. And while I carry on talking, maybe it'll show up and maybe it won't. In terms of questions, oh, that's iOS and iPad. So
yeah, I was going to add one thing on this one, Jason, is that we do similar to install automations or other files that get uploaded. The files are going to be assessed, right? So we're going to attempt to scan them to determine, is there something wrong with them? Are they malicious? Things of that nature. So that is something that we do want to keep protecting you all and your devices, because if you go and grab just a random APK and deploy it, we want to try to protect you to the best of our ability. So that is something we wanted to highlight within kind of the same bounds of everything else that we do within Ninja.
Yeah, that would have been a good point to call out while I was saying don't grab APKs from random third-party sources, but there we are. That's it in a nutshell. So it has, I don't know if you can see the device, it has installed that in the background while we were talking. I did replace Pizza with KISS Launcher, which is a standard open source launcher for Android. And there we go. We've got it in along with the other applications and some deleted by policy when I was playing around earlier. But that's it effectively, right? So unlike Google Play uploaded applications, everything is very much reliant on our infrastructure. So it can be that it may not be as fast as this demo alludes to occasionally if the network's not strong, if the device is not in a good position, if there's storage woes or anything else, it can take longer to install those applications. Likewise, if there are issues with the APK or issues installing it, we will try to surface as much of that as possible. But if there are any issues, you can always reach out to support and we'll plod through it. We are working on several new features associated with APK deployment. This is only a bit of a precursor. We are building a library in the background, so you can treat it as you do for other library-based software installers, I should say. And we'll have more granular permissions and management on that as well. And I will stop there because I think we're at time.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are okay with going a couple minutes over, we do have one question, and also can use this as an opportunity to final chance, everybody. You've got these wonderful gentlemen held captive. If you have any questions about anything MDM related, you can let us know. Also, like I mentioned, you can find them very receptive over in our Discord. Look at that right there. You can join. And with that, let's go ahead and tackle this first one, Josh, if you don't mind.
I can do that.
It's from Melkor. Thanks for the question. Having challenges with location tracking, and then asking about opening the NinjaOne Assist app on the device in order to get the location update. This is something you can talk to.
This is not news to anybody, I think, that's been in the iOS space for a good period of time. There's a nature of how Apple gives MDM, or in this case, doesn't give MDM providers any access to location services or background servicing. So from an MDM or an app developer perspective, you're kind of very much hamstrung or kind of walled off from a lot of the services that are required for this type of use case, like live tracking, right? So it's being able to see where a device is at any point in time without really impacting the device and using something like lost mode, which I'll talk about in a moment. So what we've done is we've made it such that if the app is open and working in the background and you've provided an always allow location service function, then we'll be able to get that location data at whatever interval you've stated. And I've got devices that have been doing this for the last year plus that have been giving us location data that are working just fine in their normal everyday use. Happens to be a family member of mine who just thankfully reopens the app every other day when they reboot. So they are at least trained and listening to be able to do that. Though I know that that's not reality everywhere. The other options in this case are kind of dealing with apps getting force closed. And in that case, we are able to tell the app to relaunch itself once the device has moved physically 300 or 400 meters. I forget what the actual spec is from Apple, but they do provide vendors the ability for apps to reopen in the background. So we've got a couple options there to work through. And we're also working directly with Apple with this use case and talking with their product team to try to give MDM providers more access to this. I know that they have their Find My service and things of that nature that they do as a first party, but it doesn't work as well in the business and the enterprise world. And this is something that we want to give them a little bit more access to. Jonathan, looks like screen changed a little bit. And so that startled me just a little bit from there. But
Sorry about that.
That is something that we are working towards to try to get better. I would like to say that on the Android space, we just don't have this problem, right? Because Android app, Google gives vendors more access to background services, gives us the ability to actually run a service in the background and get the location tracking information almost as often as we need to, with some rare exception, but it works far more consistently than the Apple side. But are there changes coming? We are working through every possible angle to try to make it better. There are limitations because we are not a cellular provider. We're not a telephony product. Those products get a little bit more access to the OS. We do not.
You got to thank you for that, Josh. All right, one more from Dustin. Apple specifically, again, is there a roadmap timeline for an improved app store similar to the self-service or company portal?
Yes. So yet again, another area where Apple is limited compared to Android, where Android, you get this for free. It's natural with the Play Store. As stated, we have to build this manually, right? So we are going through and working on the NinjaOne Assist app, making that an end user experience. We've already put an MDM dashboard in there. Along the lines of self-service, we've worked on an end user portal to start providing self-service capabilities. That's in kind of an early access, if you will. If you talk to your account team, we can talk to you about that. So we're already building this end user concept of a portal. Now we need to continue the enhancements of our NinjaOne Assist app to bring it there. So there's definitely a roadmap item for it. There's a couple other things ahead of it at the moment, but it's definitely something we are working towards to try to bring, because it is a requirement in the Apple space to build it ourselves as opposed to leveraging native services. I do want to stumble back to the previous question very quickly, because I said lost mode, and some people might have eye twitched a little bit when I said it, because it's technically not there today, but that functionality is done and is delivering in our next major release of Ninja across Android and Apple mobile devices. So you will have lost mode functionality that does not have any reliance on the NinjaOne Assist app at all. It is using native OS capabilities, just as you'd expect if you went and marked your phone as lost in any of the specific services, locks the device, doesn't allow anybody to have access to it, puts messaging on the screen, all of the things you'd come to expect from lost mode. So if you're looking for those types of capabilities to get the location, those will be there coming very soon.
Awesome. All right. Dustin, I just want to give a shout out. You were mentioning you're in the process of migrating over. And so you're going through the onboarding. If you run into any issues, obviously, NinjaOne, we pride ourselves with the account management and support being available. Definitely take advantage of those resources. Reach out and ask for walkthroughs or more hands-on help if you feel like that would be helpful. Don't be shy. It's available for you. And in addition to that, resources. So Josh, there's a ton. If you look here on YouTube and just do a search for MDM, you'll see a bunch of videos that he's put together. In addition, there's Dojo resources. But I'm very curious, if you run into anything and you think that there's areas that we could document better or anything that's not explained, definitely respond here in YouTube, or like I mentioned on the Discord, join that and feel free to tag me. Would love to hear that. All right, guys. Before we hop off, I'm gonna take advantage of my time. Sorry for scaring you with my screen earlier, Josh. I was gonna show this. So we've got a couple other webinars coming up, including one tomorrow for anyone in the audience whose MSP is interested in CMMC. So that's predominantly going to be stateside folks, right? But anyone who's curious about, hey, what is this all about? Is this something that we should actually be thinking about doing? What's all involved with that? We've got a really cool webinar happening tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. These are the two guys you should be focused on. We've got Michael Reese, CISO from Executech, and Bobby Guerrero, CEO of Axiom. Bobby has shared a ton around their CMMC journey. They've got a whole YouTube channel around it. Super open about what that looks like, what all is involved. So that's a really cool one to check out. And then quickly, next week, everyone, I'm sure, has it already marked on their calendar. World Backup Day is next Tuesday, March 31st. Who could forget? It's 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to celebrate by having another rendition of Backups and Bandwidth. That's our live tabletopping. And we're going to put Jason and Josh, you guys will appreciate this. We're going to put Dan Myers, our product manager in charge of backup. He's going to be a player. Him and 3 other MSPs are going to be, or Ninja partners are going to be going through a scenario, a backup and disaster survival scenario. We're going to do our best to throw them off track and really give them some, make them squirm a little bit. And then we're, of course, going to make sure that this is packed with actually practical takeaways, good advice. So it's a good, fun training. Hope that we'll see you all there. The most important thing, this is also for Josh and Jason. Look at this. We're going to give away, there's a new Lego set coming, guys. A new Lord of the Rings Lego set. They're going to be doing Minas Tirith. It's going to be huge. It's like 8,000 pieces or something. It's going to be a ridiculous amount of money. And we're going to blow it all on that so we can pass it on to you guys. So another reason to register. Just wanted to call that out. But thank you, everybody, for taking time. And most of all, thank you, Josh and Jason. Really appreciate it. You guys are busy. Appreciate your time.
No, thanks for all the questions, everybody. It was awesome.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, happy Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow, next week, sometime in the future. Take care.